I'm Paula, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel. I upload weekly vlogs every Sunday and I do weekly chatty videos every Wednesday. Now those videos are about all different topics, about whatever I kind of fancy doing on a weekly basis. And this week I thought I'd have a bit of a chat about my honeymoon. Now I got married in August, on the 10th of August to be precise, and we went on our honeymoon on Sunday the 12th. We were very lucky to be able to go to the Maldives, and I wanted just to tell you a bit about it really. I thought it'd be quite nice to document it somewhere, share some pictures with you and talk a bit about what it's really like to go to the Maldives. So the Maldives is 1,192 islands in total, and they're scattered into atolls, which are essentially like groups of islands. The island we went to is called Kuredu. It's Kuredu Island Resort and Spa. I don't know how you pronounce this. It's the Lahaviani, maybe that's it. Lahaviani Atoll, which is 145 kilometres north of Mali, which is the capital island of the Maldives. Now obviously I can't talk for any other islands in the Maldives, any time I've been so far, and so this is the only island I can really talk about. So I'm not trying to compare it to any other islands. I'm not trying to give you a guide as to why you should go here versus other islands in the Maldives, because I don't know. There's a huge difference between islands. I think some are better kept than others. I think some have higher starred resorts than others. I don't know, but yeah, so Kuredu Island Resort and Spa is where we went. So we flew from Heathrow. We flew with Qatar Airways, I think that's how you say it, Qatar. The plane itself was absolutely stunning. It was like the nicest plane I've ever been on. I've flown Virgin quite a few times, and we've been very lucky to fly Virgin upper class as well when we came back from New York in 2015, I think it was. I mean, that was absolutely out of this world. So I'm not comparing it to upper class or business class on any plane, but for just economy class on a plane, this was the best I've ever been on. The lighting was really nice and it had a nice smell. The food was good, like they were really attentive. So we had two like longish haul flights going there. So we flew from Heathrow to Doha in Qatar. That was about a 6-hour flight. And then we flew from Qatar to Mali, which is the capital of the Maldives, and that was about a 5-hour flight. So quite a lot of flying involved. And then when you get to Mali, depending where you're staying in the Maldives, you'll then very likely have a boat plane to take you to your island. I think sometimes you have a boat instead, but we had a boat plane, which was about an hour, about 45 minutes to an hour. The boat plane though, what I will say is, if you're not keen on boats, and I'm really not, I hate boats, then just be a little bit aware that when you land, you will get that kind of boat feeling. And as I'll talk about in a bit in terms of weather and that kind of thing, we were quite unlucky with the weather when we went, because there'd been quite a bad storm in Sri Lanka, and so we were kind of hitting the tail end of the storm, and so the sea itself was quite rocky when we got there and actually when we left. And getting there actually wasn't too bad, because we landed and then just got off and got our cases, and it wasn't like there was not much hanging around. But when we come home, we obviously had to get the same boat plane back to Mali, and we actually had to stop in a couple of islands on the way to pick up passengers coming back to the airport with us. And when we stopped, the plane had to moor for a little while near a jetty, and it was very shaky, and I get seasick and I was feeling quite sick. Most of it you are in the air, and it's only when you land that it gets a bit rocky. But I just thought I'd mention that, because obviously we had to stop at several islands, and therefore we had to sit in the sea effectively, not literally sit in the sea, but we were moored in the sea for a little while. And yeah, I just wanted to mention it anyway, because I just thought if you don't like boats, that's wonderful. Now when we arrived at our island, we were greeted by a whole line of people playing drums, doing like a greeting tune for us, which was really cool. We were then taken straight into like the main reception area of our island, given drinks, and then just chilled out for a little bit basically. And then we all went off in our individual groups to different parts of the resort that we were staying in. In our case, we were staying in what was called Sandu. So we had a golf buggy take us to Sandu, and then we were met at the Sandu reception by the kind of guide for that part of the resort for us. Now on our island, there was lots of different options in terms of accommodation. The ones that we stayed in were the water villas, which are the kind of the well-known Maldives villas that are actually on stilts in the sea, and it was incredible. They looked absolutely stunning. You accessed them by, there was like a essentially a bridge. I don't know what you call it actually. It's like a jetty, I suppose, but it is a bridge. The walk that kind of took you to where all the villas were in a line, and then you walked up to your villa, which were all in the sea, just literally suspended on wood in the sea. Even though we were both absolutely shattered after all the travelling, I just remember my breath being taken away when I first saw the villas. It didn't seem real. It just seemed like you were in a postcard. It was just, yeah, just amazing. They were absolutely stunning. Now the villa itself was a pretty big room. I haven't got many pictures of inside because didn't really take many of inside. It was a pretty big room that you walked into. There was a large bed and like a little sofa area, little desk area, you know, standard hotel room type stuff. And then out the back there was a jetty, so our own little jetty that had some sunbeds on it and little steps that walked straight into the sea. Lovely big bathroom, nice fridge that was stocked for us every day, bottle of white, bottle of red and bottle of rosé every single day, completely complimentary of the fact that you were staying there. Tea and coffee, soft drinks, a few snacks that were free as well, others that you had to pay for. And they let you use, I think it was 2 Nespresso pods every day as well, with an espresso machine that was in the room, which was really nice. We have an espresso machine at home, which we love, so that was a real treat to still be able to have Nespressos when you were away. It wasn't important, not something we would request, but the fact they had it was a really nice little touch, I thought. And I would definitely say it's worth paying that little bit extra to stay in a water villa, just because when you go to the Maldives you want to have the true experience of being in the Maldives. The only thing I would say was, because we caught the tail end of a storm from Sri Lanka, it was quite stormy on quite a lot of the evenings and you did feel the villa was rocking quite a bit from the wind. Obviously you are just on wooden stilts in the sea, so it's going to have a bit of an effect, but it wasn't like being on a boat, so I wasn't affected by it like in a seasickness kind of way, but you definitely could feel it. And there was a couple of nights that both Luke and I woke up in the middle of the night, we were like, oh my god, are we gonna go in the sea? Because it was pretty, yeah, pretty crazy. In terms of food and drink, the cuisine was very authentic Maldivian. I was really impressed by this because often when you go to resorts it's just full of like English food that they provide to, like, you know, satisfy the English tourists and, you know, different country tourists, but I actually like the fact they kept it very authentic. There was lots of curries, lots of lovely veggie curries, fish curries, meat stews, lovely salads, using lots of native vegetables and native ingredients that I hadn't even tried before. Just really yummy, good, flavoursome food, and I really enjoyed it. Breakfast was like just a real kind of choice of pretty much everything. They had quite a lot of, you know, like Western options as well, but they had lots of lovely fruit salads and smoothies and fresh eggs, fresh meats, fish, you know, toast and croissants and everything you could really want, to be honest, for breakfast. Really good coffee, really good juices. Yeah, really good selection of stuff. And then lunch and dinner was just like the really authentic Maldivian cuisine. Very inspired by Sri Lankan cuisine, I would guess, just because of the, obviously, the proximity of the two together geographically. Obviously some a la carte restaurants as well. So on one night we actually ate in one of the a la carte restaurants, which was an all vegan restaurant. That was absolutely delicious, so good. We didn't actually get a chance to go to the other a la carte restaurants because I noticed the food in the buffet restaurants was so good. We were really happy and satisfied with it. And the holiday itself was all inclusive, so that was included in the price. The a la carte restaurants you'd have to pay extra for as if you were going out for a meal. And obviously when you had food that good that you'd already paid for, essentially, we were happy to have it. In terms of drinks, like during the day and of an evening, again, it was all inclusive, so we were allowed whatever we wanted to drink, basically. Like with most all-inclusive resorts, you wear a wristband whilst you're there, and our wristband entitled us to pretty much any drink that we wanted. I know there was different levels and different wristbands, so for us, we didn't have to worry about which ones were in and which ones out. Everything was in. To be honest, mostly had pina coladas, Aperol spritz, any kind of gin cocktail that was on offer, like daiquiris, and I also had a few margaritas as well, because, you know, when in Rome, when in the Maldives. And another thing which we really liked was all the restaurants, and in fact pretty much everywhere on the whole island was covered in sand, so you didn't wear shoes anywhere. You didn't wear shoes in the restaurants or the bars, it was all just sand on the floor, so everyone was walking around barefoot, and we walked around barefoot the whole week, and it was a really odd experience on the day when we had to come home putting shoes on in the morning. We were like, what are these things that we have to put on our feet? How weird is it? Activities, pretty much all the water sports were on offer. You know, you could hire jet skis, you could go snorkeling, you could go diving, windsurfing, hire boats, go on boat trips, like organised boat trips. There was one that was called the Sunset Cruise. Luke actually went on his own because I don't like boats. Unfortunately, he was just watching dolphins the whole time, so I missed out on seeing dolphins in real life, which was really annoying. You could have professional photographs done. There was a golf course, Luke was very happy about that. There was a spa, there was 2 spas actually, and I actually went and had a massage on one of the days, which was absolutely incredible. There was a little window below my bed that I laid on that you could look into the sea, and I could see fish going by, which was really cool. We had quite a few pools on the resort as well, so obviously you have the sea all around you because you are on an island, but we had a couple of really nice pools, which was an infinity pool, which was really lovely to lay in and just like lean across the edge and look at the sea, and that was really nice. There was a games room. There was a gym actually if you wanted to go to the gym. There was kids clubs, there was a tea room. They had various special occasion things you could do as well. So they had like special meals or special dinners that you could have like actually on the beach. One of them was where they built the table and chairs into the sand, which was quite cool. I don't think that was available the week we were there because the weather wasn't great. There was like a cabana that you could have food in. They did lots of special things like that if you wanted to do them. We went snorkeling actually, which was really, really fun. Again, because the weather hadn't been great, we didn't see that much. We see quite a lot of different like fish, but it wasn't quite as clear as it perhaps would have been like a normal week. But yeah, it was really enjoyable nonetheless. Luke actually saw a manta ray as we were just walking along the beach one day. We were just literally right by the shore. Apparently that's really rare to see them that close to the shore. Yeah, just happened to be casually hanging out near where we were walking. We did also see things like baby sharks and turtles, and yeah, you see a lot obviously because it is that kind of place where you are going to see a lot of sea life. Obviously go proper diving as well if you want to. I think you have to be trained, or you have to at least like go on a training course whilst you're there if you hadn't already have one. I don't think they'll just let you go diving straight away. But yeah, I mean, we went to the Pro Divers diving school talk before we went snorkeling, and we had an instructor come with us as well who taught us how to actually snorkel, explained how it works and that kind of thing. Like little tips like how you put flippers on and how you breathe with snorkel on, and little things to not do and to do and that kind of thing. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Would love to go on a clearer day. I would love to have a mask with a longer tube because the ones they gave us were really short tubes, and I found that like your head didn't have to be that far under for your tube to get filled up with water. And she did say that unfortunately the ones they gave out to guests who were just trying it as like a lesson weren't as long as the ones that you could either buy yourself or a lot of the pros have, because obviously it doesn't take a lot for you to get your tube full of water, and obviously you can't do much if that keeps happening because the water just goes straight in your mouth. So yeah, that was a bit of a shame, but I really did enjoy the experience. I'd love to go again someday. Weather, so I've kind of mentioned it a few times that we had storms and that kind of thing, and we did, and unfortunately we did have a lot of days of rain and not particularly nice weather. It was a bit of a shame really, but at the same time, on the days when we did have really hot weather, it was like in the late 30s, early 40s, and it was really hot. So it was probably a good thing that we had a mixture of sort of cooler days with the hot days, because I think if we'd had it hot, like hot all week long, probably too much for both of us really. I like the heat, but even I am a little bit, after a while I'm like, this is just too hot even for me. So yeah, I mean, we didn't get that lucky with the weather. I think the only thing that really affected us in terms of the storm and walking to the restaurants and walking out to the bars and things was a bit of a nightmare. We actually had raincoats that were hanging in the room, and on our first day I noticed them in the wardrobe. We had like robes and slippers and all the usual things that you get, but yeah, I saw these raincoats and I was like, oh my god, as if we're going to need raincoats in the Maldives. Sure enough, we actually did have to wear our raincoats a few times because yeah, some of the nights were quite stormy. But I mean, it didn't affect us really. Like, it was just a little bit annoying that we got wet walking into the bars and stuff sometimes, but it didn't really affect anything. I mean, normally the stormy season starts in around like mid-late September. We went in like early to mid-August, so we technically should have missed the stormy season, but we didn't, which was a bit of a shame. But overall, nothing really affected the holiday. It was still absolutely amazing. Now, the million-dollar question, I guess, is would we go back? Absolutely. Is the Maldives worth the hype? Yes. I mean, obviously I can't speak for every island in the Maldives, but the island we went to, Kuredu, was absolutely amazing. Absolutely loved being there. You know, the sand is absolutely gorgeous, lovely and pure white and soft sand. The sea is turquoise blue and absolutely incredible. Everywhere is very green and lush and very well kept. It's lovely, lovely, friendly people. They couldn't do enough for you. Yeah, I mean, I could carry on banging on about it. It was just a really, really special holiday. Obviously, it was our honeymoon, so it was going to be special anyway, wherever we were. Luke actually surprised me with this. He said that I was doing all the wedding planning and kind of pretty much, you know, I was the one doing that kind of stuff. He said he'd be the one to book and sort the honeymoon. I always kind of wanted to go somewhere really chilled and beachy for my honeymoon, because that's kind of how I imagine the honeymoon to be, and he did, and he couldn't have got it more spot on. As you can imagine, it was really magical and really lovely, and we just had the most amazing week. But yeah, it was so good. Yeah. Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I shall see you on Sunday for another weekly vlog. Bye! I don't think this is making sense, Mika, is it? No, I didn't think so either.
I can go back, press rewind, but it won't make a difference. You